Tenant demand is soaring and properties are letting in very quick time. We're hurtling towards what we call peak letting season. Well, let's have a look at exactly what that looked like in the month of May 2023. Here you will see our vital statistics from the month, starting with the average time it took to let a property. That's the time it took between the property going on the market and a landlord accepting an offer from a tenant. That was just 10.7 days. So really properties are still letting extremely quickly. The average rents we're achieving still stand at 100% of the advertised rent. So every single property that we let during the month of May was let at the advertised rent. Why is that happening? It's still because of that imbalance between property supply and tenant demand. So there's huge competition for rental properties, and that really means that there's no negotiating to be done over the advertised rent. Are rents still increasing because of that mismatched supply and demand? Well, yes, they are. We saw the properties that we re-let in May that we'd let before, we were achieving on average 4.4% higher rents than before. Now, actually, that figure doesn't really tell the whole story, because what we're seeing is that it's cooled off slightly, but we're seeing hotspots within the market. So one property that we let in May had a rent increase of 11%. Another was at 0%. Certainly rents have not gone down, but the rent you're achieving and how much that can increase is varying more, and that's coming down to the type and nature of the property that's going onto the market. So very much do discuss that with your agent. It's not necessarily a foregone conclusion that your rent will go up, although it is very likely. Now, looking now at what exactly we mean by busy season. Well, I want to come back to something I've used in previous months, my favourite chart here. I do love a chart. As you can see, in terms of, we talk about how long it takes to rent a property, and last month it was 10.7 days. Well, that information is not very useful without context. So here you can see on average, month by month, how long it has taken us to rent a property here in Bath since May of last year. And you can see that during the winter months, it took a lot longer. That's very much par for the course and to be expected. But what we're seeing now is quite satisfyingly, the average time to rent a property is going down month by month as we get further into the summer and into what we call peak season. So we can really expect now June, July, August, probably even September to be quite frenetic in terms of the pace of the market and the rate at which properties are being let. Let's have another look at tenant demand. Well, the number of tenants who we registered last month who are actively looking for a property to rent really soared. It went up by 54% compared to the number of new tenants we registered in April, and it's also up by 18% compared to May of last year. So really there are a large number of tenants looking to rent homes. We just need to find enough homes to satisfy that demand. Let's look at stock. So on average, when I've looked at Rightmove across the last year or so, there's normally been 90 to 100 properties on the market at any one time. That's still the same. Right now, there's 109 properties in Bath on Rightmove. What I find quite interesting is when we drill into that slightly more, if we narrow that down just to houses as opposed to apartments, that figure stands at 36. Now, take that in comparison to the hundreds of people we're registering looking for homes in Bath, you see how inadequate the housing supply is at the moment. And this is really turning into something of a crisis for some tenants who I've spoken to who are really finding it hard to secure a rental home. We're going to broaden this out slightly now away from Bath to review what's been going on nationally in the last month. And it has, of course, been an extremely significant month for the rental and lettings sector. And that's because the government has announced their renters reform bill, which is now making its way through into law. Now, that's nothing that's going to happen anytime soon. This is still a proposal, but it is capturing a lot of headlines and a lot of attention from landlords. If you'd like to know more about that, then I have posted a full video explainer going through every single proposal and telling you exactly what it means for you as a landlord. I'll post the link to that in the description of this video. If you're local here in Bath, then I must plug the landlord conference that we've got coming up on the 27th of July. Please do join us for that. And we'll be going through all of these proposals in a great amount of detail with some guest speakers who will give us some real expertise and insight as well. Well, that's all for this month. I'll be back in a few weeks to recap on what's been happening in the rental market. But until then, bye-bye.